Hi, my name is Brittany, and I have been spending the morning watching the Kavanaugh-Ford Senate hearing, and I got very infuriated with how many Democrats and supporters of Miss Ford and giving her praise for doing what she's doing. Now, let me tell you this. I'm a Republican, and I do not believe Christine Ford for a second. There is zero proof of her allegations. Two gentlemen have already come forward saying that Judge and Kavanaugh had nothing to do with it, and in fact, they were the ones who sexually assaulted her. She has zero corroborators, zero proof, and even her psychiatrist notes, she never once mentioned Brett Kavanaugh's name. There's just so much that is wrong, and then remembering zero detail. So for multiple senators to sit there and say that she is an inspiration to thousands of rape victims and survivors, no, she's not. And I know this because, sorry, I do have a cold. I know this because I am a rape survivor, and I know it's been about 15 years since my incident, one of my incidences, and I could tell you, probably not the exact day, but I could tell you everything about the location. I could drive you there. I could paint such a vivid picture that you would feel like you experienced it with me. That's 15 years later. There are many, many women who have gone through sexual assault, rape, drugging, whatever, and could tell you more detail about their event than Miss Ford could do. She claims to have PTSD, and I actually have been diagnosed with PTSD from my rape, and even to this day, 15 years later, reliving that puts tears in my eyes, and I can still almost just smell my rapist. And the shitty thing about my situation was that my rapist was my boyfriend. So I had nobody to turn to because at the time, I didn't think that what he did was rape, necessarily. I thought that because we were in a relationship, people would look at me like I was a joke, and that when you're in a relationship, consent is nullified. But it's not. And what I went through was horrible, and what other rape survivors went through is horrible, and what Miss Ford is doing is horrendous. She's basically telling young girls and young women that regret is rape, which not. We all have regrets. She's telling young girls and women that, hey, if you get a wild hair up your ass, you can make any allegations you want. You don't need to have the burden of proof, and that man will go to jail. I mean, I don't know if you know, but a gentleman that was going into the NFL was a very good football player. He was sought out, talented, got an accuser, and he spent 6 years in prison, and the only reason he was released was because his accuser let it leak out on Facebook that she was full of shit and that she lied. Now, she should be going to prison, and I'm pretty sure she is. I haven't followed up on that story yet, though. But multiple women who have falsely accused people have been going to prison. It is a felony, people. You're wasting taxpayers' time and money. You're wasting police officers' time and money. For what? I mean, to get sympathy? I don't understand. Like, why would you want somebody to look at you like you're a victim? Most people don't even know about my situation. And for me to make this video took me a long time to think about if I really wanted to do this. Because it's not something I like to think about. And it's not healthy, but it's what I do. And I mean, say what you want about me. I am not a feminist. Not in the sense that you see them now. I am not a sheep. I don't follow along with what every woman says just because she's a woman. I do my research and make my decision based on the facts that are provided to me. And with the facts, Brett Kavanaugh is getting an unjust hand right now just because the Democrats and liberals are pissed off that the Republicans are going to take the House. Pull your head out of your asses, people. See what's really there. Many, 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 many rape survivors and victims will agree with me. You know the details. When I was seeing a therapist, it took her less than 30 minutes to see the anguish that I still felt. And that was 10 years after the fact, 12 years, something like that. The pain is real. And it stays with you forever. I mean, and that's the other thing. She sits there and says that she suffers from PTSD, and I'm talking about Dr. Ford here. She suffers from PTSD allegedly, and it's affected her life and yada yada yada. But yet, you house Google interns in your home. Men, women, whatever. 15 years later for me, I don't even like going out in public. I have anxiety. I don't meet new people because of the fear and the anxiety and whatever else I feel. I don't understand how, I mean, she's making light of this situation, essentially, because she's lying about it. There is just so many things wrong with what's going on, and for the Senate to sit there and the Democrats basically suck her dick on this, oh, we thank you so much for taking the time. Bitch is afraid to fly, but flies frequently, and that was her whole reasoning why she didn't want to go in front of the Senate, was because she's afraid to fly. They offered to go to California, which, hey, what's up, Cali? Represent. They offered to come out here to Cali to get your statements and whatever else, and you refused. You needed an extra 4 days to what I assume is rehearse with the Democratic Party the questions that they would be asking you and the way that you should respond and the way that she should carry herself and the voice that she should have should sound very scared. Bullshit. I get extremely angry about it because it is not something to be taken lightly, and I feel so horribly for our young boys today because what is all this teaching them? That they can't trust women, that they can't trust that they can open up to women and be free. That's not the kind of world that I want my children growing up in. And yes, for all your haters, they're going to have something to say about my anti-feminist bullshit. I do have 2 daughters. They are strong, they are independent, and they think for themselves. And they know that when they need me, I will be there for them. I didn't have that. I had nobody to be there for me when I went through what I went through. I had to internalize everything. because my boyfriend at the time that did the rape secluded me from my entire base. My family, my friends, everything, everybody was gone. I had nobody. My kids will be lucky enough to have 2 parents that they can count on and that love them unconditionally. So, to Dr. Ford, just like all your students have said, you are a vindictive, evil person. And which is clear because Justice Kavanaugh and his mother presided over your family's bankruptcy or foreclosure, excuse me. So tell me that you don't have a reason to get even with Brett. And Brett confessed, basically, under public scrutiny, that he was a virgin through high school and college. Now, I don't know about you, but I know no man that would proudly say, I was a virgin through high school and college without hesitation. Every guy wants to brag about their accomplishments, like, oh yeah, I tapped that. Psh. Not Brett Kavanaugh. He is the right man for the job. He is a just man. And we need to stop this circus. And that is all that this is a huge fucking circus. So that's my story. I was going to go a little bit more into my personal details, but for now I'm just going to leave that be. If you guys actually do want to hear it, leave me some comments, and if I get enough interest, I'll put my story completely out there for everybody to hear and hopefully help. Alright, good night, guys. Peace. # Justice Kavanaugh.